Yeah, so we're 9 practices in, I believe. So just man, we're 2 weeks left, and I really believe. And I think y'all know me that I would say it if I did. I wouldn't say it if I didn't believe it. I think we're pretty much 9 for 9 with effort, and our attitude's good. The energy's been nice. Got to give credit to our coaches for that, for getting their guys ready to have competitive periods and throughout the practices that we have. And I thought today was the same. I thought it was really competitive. And I loved the smiles and the celebrations on each side when something well is done. We've got a long way to go still. A lot of things to clean up, but I do like, to this point, what we've been able to accomplish in the 9 practices that we've had. I thought we took a step forward today in the last period offensively, with quarterbacks making the right reads and receivers making a few plays. Ended it with an interception, which wasn't good. But prior to that play, I thought run game, I thought we were pretty balanced, and I think we're getting better in the offensive line too. So it's I'm pleased to this point. Have no idea. Still a lot of question marks. Who the quarterback? Where all look promising at times. I think defensively we have a chance to be pretty solid again, and hopefully really excited about what I've seen with Day. I think he's adds another weapon to us offensively. So still banged up at receiver, really bad there. We got to get some of those guys back, but all in all, good to this. It's just about still convincing everyone in this building that our object is to prepare everyone in our program to create value for themselves when opportunities arise, whether in life as a coach or a player that's exhausted his eligibility, or in opportunities on the field, for our upcoming season. And you got to condition yourself to do that every day to be ready for those opportunities. So.
Coach, I'll start with one with Day. Do you foresee him being a every down type back, or what kind of a dynamic element does he bring?
Well, so far I see no reason why he couldn't be. I think he's physical. I think he's outstanding vision as a runner, and probably the one question mark I guess I still would have would be what type of receiver he is, but he caught a big wheel route today for about 60-yard touchdown. So I think he can do that also. Just we haven't put all that stuff in yet. So I think I really believe he could be an every down back. I like that room with him and TJ and Shedro, and Malik Caper's shown some good things too this spring, and so I like that room. Think you could see us some probably with 2 of them on the field and using Shedro some in a lot of different ways.
Coach, I wanted to ask you specifically about the cornerback room. So Kobe Singleton was in the non-contact jersey, and Dexter Ricks got a lot of playing time there with the second string. Do you like Ricks as a freshman and what he can bring?
Yeah, I love him. I think he's got this silent confidence about him for a true freshman, and he's getting a lot of quality reps right now that will help add depth to that room. And Kobe's he's fine. He just got tested positive for mono, and they have to take care. He has to stay out of contact for a certain period of time. So, be good to get him back because he had looked really solid also coming into this. But those 2 freshman DBs, Sweeney and Ricks, both I think we were right to recruit them.
Let's go online now to Jot Nansen from A Sea of Red.
Hey, Coach, with DeMario and C.J. Daniels missing some time right now at slot receiver, I know Daniels plays outside as well. Who are some other guys that you need to step up in that slot position as you move towards the fall?
Yeah, we moved Javion in there today and thought he showed a little promise, and Brody, and then Kylan Austin's got to really come on. So Dwayne Crawford's getting some reps there too, but we moved Javion in there today, and we haven't watched the film yet, but there were times I thought that he was looked promising that he could help us there also. Yeah, we're missing both CJs and DeMario right now, which is a big chunk of the production that we would expect out of that receiver room.
Let's go to Ed Lane next online.
Hugh, the value of the pro day, you mentioned 9 for 9 in good practices, and you also mentioned people, understanding players, understanding the value of just consistent effort and performance day in and day out, and what that can do. Does the pro day, the juice around it this year for Malik Willis, have a carryover effect in your eyes to the guys that are coming back and what that can mean for them if they put that effort in?
It should. It should have a positive ripple effect on our entire program for at least, you would think, through the draft, his rookie year, probably be hard pressed to get more ripple effect out of it after that. There'll still certainly, hopefully, be something positive we can use, because I believe that Malik will always represent our program and university very well. But there's no doubt when you're on, national TV and our play shows well to begin with, it's like I've always said about recruiting. If we can get them to the mountain, we have a chance, because the culture, the atmosphere, the experience that they have here, the facilities, the partnership with all of campus, like you saw on Pro Day, that everybody pitched in and did their part. I just think, so I can't tell you the number of emails I've received from either general managers, scouts, just saying, man, we go to hundreds of these, and yours was top-notch at Liberty, and really well done. So I think there certainly should be some ripple effect in, through, and around the program for a while.
Hey, Coach, you talked about maximizing the value from your guys and making sure you prepare everyone here in spring ball. How would you say your mindset for spring ball has changed from year one here at Liberty to where you are here today?
Well, we're 3-0 in bowl games in 3 years, so the standard has kind of been set. Until you get in a conference, the objective is become bowl eligible and be competitive in the games that are on our schedule. Next year's schedule is by far the hardest that we've had. I'm okay with that for a year. Then I'll be excited to get into Conference USA and let's compete for a conference championship, hopefully. But until then, it is what it is, and our objective hasn't changed, and that's to put our kids and our fans in some competitive situations, and hopefully we're up to meeting some of those challenges, and at the end of it all, to play for another, to put another banner up in the indoor that we've won another bowl game. That would be, the objective. So the mindset has certainly changed from year one. I didn't think it was possible that we could go to a bowl game after spring ball. I really didn't, and certainly didn't after the start of the year. And I was in the hospital bed, and I didn't think we were playing very well. And so, the mindset definitely has changed.
What has excited you about adding Brewer to this program, and do you feel that the experience that he brings at the quarterback position makes the other guys better in that competition?
Yeah, I believe competition in general makes us all better if you accept it. The people that won't or feel that something should be given to them probably won't fare very well when the competitiveness starts within a position group or on a team. But there's no question that he's elevated the competition in that room, and I haven't seen any signs that the other kids are backing down from that competition. So it's always good to have a guy that's had experience, that's played in games like the ones we're going to be asked to play in, and he had success in them. So I think it's a positive all the way around.
I noticed today Tyron Dupree, he's moving around quite a bit on defense, either at will or now lining up outside in some of those heavy packages. Do you really like his versatility and the amount of time he's been able to spend in this defensive system?
Yeah, I think he's had a different mindset this spring too. I really think he's kind of feels renewed and more of a leadership role. I like the way his body's changed some in the off season. today they were putting in some heavy packages for some of the bigger personnel, and that's a way they're trying to use him in some of those heavy packages as one of those outside guys. So I think he is flexible enough to do multiple things for us, and excited about his leadership more than anything right now.
Similar to like in Akil Washington?
Maybe. Akil probably is going to stay more in the box. I don't know that we're going to ask him to learn a lot of things outside the box, but I don't know. Maybe, we really don't know because, he broke his hand after, 4 practices, and we hadn't seen him in anything but individual drills thus far.
Let's go back online to John.
Hey, Coach, when you look at, Malik and so many of the other guys that went through Pro Day last week, they're transfers into the Liberty. And then you look at Charlie and Day-Day and so many others you talked about so much during the spring practice so far that are also transfers. How advantageous do you think that's been for you and your staff, and how you guys have been able to use the transfer portal since you've been at Liberty?
Well, you just mentioned some pretty good names that came through via the transfer portal or prior to the transfer portal, like in Malik's case. Or truthfully, I think it's a great addition to probably most every program. I would say has picked up some help in some way from it. So I certainly don't feel any different than the others. I think when you go that route, as long as you don't mess up the culture of your program, I think it can have positive impacts on it and just creates more competition, and you get a more mature kid sometimes. I guess we're approaching now, I'm trying to remember my first class. Really I wouldn't, no offense to anyone, but I wouldn't call me getting here in December in that first class really our first real class of signees, but hopefully you start seeing some of those signees we had, in years, in the second 2 years of recruiting, you start seeing those starting to be developed here and having the same successes like Malik and Story and D'Lo and some of those guys in the pro days.
Coach, just going back to that run game, obviously you're losing Malik Willis, and he picked up 878 yards last year. How have you guys so far in spring ball made adjustments, and how do you plan on making adjustments going forward to compensate for that loss in the run game? Yes,
that's a great question. It's very tough to replace Malik Willis. It's hard. I mean, he was such a dual threat, and those don't come along all the time. And truthfully, if you rewind to Malik's spring practices, but prior to him playing in games, we had no clue that he could really do all of that, because you blow that whistle on those jerseys on quarterbacks, you don't let them get hit. I think there's potential that Caden Salter can do that. I think there's potential that Nate Hampton can be an effective runner too. I probably won't know that until we really get some live bullets. But I think it'll be a partnership of replacing Malik. I think Day-Day and those running backs will play a huge role in it. Hopefully we can center our run game more around them and then throw in some of the quarterback-type runs that Malik had also with some guys that may be gifted toward that.
Coach, along those lines, just kind of given where you are now, would you consider packages for Caden or for whoever is the non-starter at quarterback?
Mm-hmm. I'll consider anything that helps us win. I mean, I'm not listen. I don't. If somebody can play a role and help us win, I'll be all for whatever package that is.
Coach, it seems like Scruggs has been a vocal leader of the defense pretty much since you arrived here. Obviously, he's a local guy. How have you kind of seen him grow over the years, and what do you kind of see his role on that defense being this year?
Well, you described it pretty well. I think, we actually elected a culture council that kind of has the freedom at any time to come to me and say, hey, Coach, what do you think about this? And I think this is an issue, or this is an issue, and Scruggs got the most votes of anyone, and there were others that had lots of votes, but Scruggs certainly, and to get that vote of confidence from your entire team. And this is not a defensive election or an offensive election; it's your entire team. So for him to get that, I think speaks volumes for how he's developed as a leader here.
And then I guess kind of a year in, how have I guess you guys adjusted to the whole NIL thing, and how much does that play a role in how you guys go about your day-to-day operations? And I don't know, how do you feel like you've kind of adjusted to it, I guess?
Truthfully, I don't, it never comes up around our building with our staff. And I am not opposed to it. I think these young men should get, whatever they can. I'm for them. However, I do believe if decisions are made on what's best for you at this point in the juncture of your development as a young man, as a student athlete, and all of those things is based upon some NIL deal, this is probably not the exact place for you. I just don't know that that's the way I want to operate. I'm certainly for it. I know some of our kids. Malik had a really good deal. DeMario's got, O-line's got county smoke. I love that one. I think that's the greatest thing, But, our school is cost of attendance is one of the nation's best. We pay, obviously, for all of their tuition, books, housing. We also are a university that I think will, in a short amount of time, give the Austin money for being academically eligible. And to me, that's kind of the name, image, and likeness that I want to do, because they're doing well. They're doing something that's going to help prepare them for the future. And certainly, again, I'm not against name, image, and likeness. I think if a young man can make some money off selling of his jerseys or something, I'm all for that. I just don't want that to be the motivating factor in why young men come and play here. Maybe I'm the only coach that feels that way. I don't know, but for it. But I sure don't want it to be the priority on where young men are choosing to go and try to develop for those opportunities that may come their way.
Do you see that as a barrier that has maybe separated some of those upper echelon programs within college football?
Oh, well, there's no doubt the ones who have the people that are going to pour the money into it for the young men that are going to go to that level. They certainly, it could have an effect. I can't speak for the kids and their families. It could have an effect on where they go. I think there's still a lot of question marks. So what happens after that? I don't know how all that works. I really don't. So a kid signs up for, I don't know, let's call it $1 million. Do you just give him the $1 million, or is it contractual and he has to earn it? I don't understand it. And so what happens in that locker room when the first one of those doesn't perform and he's not playing? So does he transfer? Does he still get his $1 million, and maybe then he'll come to us and we'll start working on developing him for things outside all of that. I don't know. I really have no clue how all of that's going to shake out, and I would think that certainly I'd like to meet all the people that are going to give them those amounts of money, and what happens when things don't really work out. Are you going to give it again? Or I guess people have enough money to do that. But it just concerns me that I think we have one of the greatest, sports organizations as far as college football. And I guess anytime something like this starts to change the dynamics of it, it's concerning a little bit. And I'm happy for any of our kids that get it. I really am. I just hope that's not I hope that doesn't become the driving force behind their decisions of how they choose to develop themselves while in college.
John brought this up earlier about the slot receiver positions, but who on the outsides really stood out for you this spring with both CJs out?
Well, Caleb, I think, Snead has a chance. Noah's got to get more consistent. He should be, and hopefully these last 2 weeks he'll take a step forward, and we need Trayon to continue to develop. He's got a skill set that could help us too. So, and Caleb Coleman also. So those 4 guys are the ones we're looking to have a solid 2 weeks remaining in spring.